I am Coach Tamara, and I am here again today with an amazing success story for you. You are going to love this interview. So I would like to pass over the video to my new success story. She is an amazing woman. Her name is Gresson, and basically I'm going to let her tell you all about her current work that she's doing right now, and then we're going to get into some success questions, and you will truly be inspired from this woman and her journey to following her dreams. So let me go ahead and pass it over to you, Gresson. If you could please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your business, and where people can find you when they go ahead and want to look for your work and so forth.
Yes, first of all, hello everybody. I am Gresson Pfieffer, living in Belgium, 31 years old. And I've been experiencing a wonderful journey, spiritual awakening, since I was 28. And that journey inspired me to write my book, Sharing My Light and Healing Energy. I've always felt like I was able to inspire other people, but as we know, there is always this social conditioning preventing to do so.
That is true. And can you show us your book? Tell us again the title and where they can order your book before we get into the interview. That way everyone has their location of where to look for you and your information.
Right. So basically, this is the book, Sharing My Light and Healing Energy. They can find it at Amazon.com. I self-published it, and if people may have questions, they can reach me on Facebook. I also have like an Instagram page. It's called Gresson Pfieffer _author.
Perfect. And I will be sure to add your information in you will have a whole page where you will be featured, and so everybody can go there and they'll be able to see the video, listen on the podcast, go to Gresson's website, buy her book. So what we will do now, we'll get into some fun interview questions, and we'll talk about your inspirational story on how you have come to find your success and all of the good things that go with that. So let me just put on my little readers here and we will get started. So let's see, I wanted to first ask you, you mentioned just before that at 28 years old, you're 31 now, but at 28, you felt inspired to share your story. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that inspiration was? How did this come to you, and how did you know that this was meant to be your path? And what did it look like when you first were feeling that experience?
Yeah, I actually kind of got triggered by a friend. She was kind of ghosting me, like ignoring me. I know it wasn't on purpose. I must have triggered something within her. But that also showed me that I was like self-avoiding myself. Because we tend to give more to others than ourselves. And that kind of triggered the awakening, and I had all of these insights. Because as a child, I was, I had my dad physical abused me. But I don't want to go into there because emotional is also important, and people underestimate emotional trauma because subconsciously it affects all of us, but it just comes up when we deal with it when a grown up, when we're in a fixed relationship, etc., at work. We tend to suppress emotions, and I just want to show that it isn't that hard to face it, because look at me, I'm right now at the other side, and it gets easier. We just have to face them. We are the lights, but we just don't realize it yet.
It is so true what you're saying. So often we grow up, we have our parents, our teachers, the leaders,
Yeah.
maybe the spiritual congregation you're a part of, and this defines us. And there's a lot of good in it, and there can be sometimes not always the best things. And
Mhm.
we learn to have to quiet our voices a lot of the times, because that's just what is expected, or we're just so caught up in the life,
Yeah.
busyness, and we don't have that moment where we feel like we need to go more inward.
Yeah.
And when you get to that moment, and it's so important to listen
Mhm.
to yourself and find ways to even expand upon that. And I think that's what
Mhm.
your journey is, and your book is
Yeah.
about, to teach people how to go inward, face their emotions, to find out what their emotions are, get in
Yes.
touch with them, so that they can come to some sort
Mhm.
of terms and resolution, understanding
Mhm.
themselves, loving themselves, forgiving themselves, encouraging themselves, all the things, finding your dreams and then following your path. And, you know, being aware of other people, of course, but
Mhm.
listening to your own path, your own
Yeah.
voice. And so I wanted to ask you some really nice questions about your journey to your success, and how you were able to kind of put this now into a
All
business
right.
and go forward. So let's see. My first
Mhm.
question is, um, if you could only choose one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life? And why would you encourage other women to also pursue building their own businesses, to find a way to empower themselves?
First of all, it was an enlightening journey because it kind of cleared my blockages, because that's the first thing we need to do. We have to find our authenticity. We have to be true to our values and align with ourselves. That's the very first step. And then when all of that is cleared, you kind of get the go. Um, and when you are in alignment with your intuition, everything will go in flow and easily. You will like attract the right people on your path, because I found an editor out of nowhere. I found somebody who was willing to go through my book to make sure the message is okay, the grammar, etc. And they all just magically appear, but you have to believe in it.
I love what you just said, because it's so true. And so many women say this. It's as if when you are fully rooted in your desires, then all of the help that you need, or
Yeah.
don't even know that you need, shows up for you.
Yeah.
And I truly believe, as I know you do too, in that universal energy, that
Yeah.
connection, that what is in your head, what is in your heart, there you're vibrating,
Mhm.
that energy is
Yeah.
vibrating, and we can't see it. It's
Yeah.
magical. But it's pulling in from the universe the things that
Yes.
we need to help our dreams manifest. It's
Mhm.
basically manifestation. And I love this, because over and over and over again, I hear the same thing from all of the women that I'm interviewing, and it just makes it so concrete.
Mhm.
So sometimes we doubt it. We're like,
Yeah.
should we really believe in this universal energy, this
Yeah.
manifesting, this whole thing? But I'm telling you, every time that I talk to a woman that is on the path to her
Mhm.
dream, or has already achieved portions of her dreams, things just line up. And it's
Yeah.
amazing, because it can be easy, not easy in the
Yeah.
fact that you don't have to put yourself and your passion into your work, but your
Yes.
path gets filled with the right people, the right
Mhm.
opportunity, the right circumstances. And I just love that, because we
Yeah.
don't have to figure it all out. That's
No.
how, it's like, it's
Yeah.
enough that you know why, and the how
Yes.
will figure itself
Yes.
out. And the timing, the divine timing it'll
Yes.
be when it is meant to be. And so I think what you just said gives women a lot of feeling
Yes.
of, they can maybe just
Mhm.
relax, because if the desire is in their heart,
Mhm.
and it's the authentic, beautiful desire that is beneficial to themselves and other
Yeah,
people, then their path will be like,
correct.
there will be light on their path and they
Mhm.
will find their way. So beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. And okay, so some of the questions I might skip through because I really
Mhm.
want to get a little bit more into what you're talking about. Here's a
Yeah.
great one. What empowering routines, I like to call them wealthy woman habits,
Mhm.
what do you do every day? Like morning routine, things like yoga,
Oh,
meditation, journaling. Do you have
yes.
a routine? Perfect.
Yes.
Share with
I
us.
have like a meditation routine. I'm trying once a day to reconnect with my inner child because I don't want to lose that connection ever again because that's the basis of everything. And when I connect with that inner child, I also connect with the universal energy. I make sure that I'm open and receptive to it because I channeled the whole book. It's like a co-creation with the universe.
Oh, I love this. Yes. Beautiful. This reminds me of books, Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks. Do you know their books where there's this channeling?
Synchronicity. Because another
Yes.
friend of mine mentioned about it. We talked about it earlier.
Oh, it's beautiful. And it's truly, again, one of those things, sort of like what we
Yeah.
just spoke about, when you're so centered in yourself and your message, and it's a beautiful message that is meant to be shared, and you know everything
Yeah.
lines up for you, it just comes through you. It's as
Yeah.
if it's, and that's that part that can be easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if you have to try so hard and push so hard,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in your work,
Mm-hmm.
with friendships, with a romantic partner,
Yeah.
sometimes I question if it's really, really hard. You might want to rethink it. If maybe it is not
Yes.
meant for you, maybe, or it just has to
Yes.
be reinterpreted somehow. But like you're saying, you
Yeah.
decided you want to get your words
Mm-hmm.
out there, and it was as if it came through you, and the
Yeah.
book was co-created. I love
It wasn't
this.
even
Love it.
it wasn't even on my plan.
Wow.
It just happened all of a sudden. And I would say when people get to that moment when you have ideas, it can get quite overwhelming. And then I would just advise them to just clear their energy and to just do it if you have an amazing idea. Because if you don't do it, you know what happens? That idea got passed on to someone else. And I feel like this book is kind of a gift from the universe through me to the world.
Wow, I love that. And what you just said, it reminded me because, okay, so I started to write this book,
Mm-hmm.
Success Stories, and I love it. And I know what I want to write. And it's all about wealthy, the whole idea of wealth mentality. And that doesn't, that money is just one little small part of it. It's more about the wealth of love
Yeah.
and acceptance you have for yourself, following your
Mm-hmm.
dreams, giving yourself permission. So I have a very clear understanding of what I want this book to be
Yeah.
about. And then it was very interesting because I got on my meditation mat and I just closed my eyes and I said, I just feel like there's supposed to be something more. There's something more. What is it? And I prayed on it.
Yes.
And just like you said, out of nowhere came, I call it a divine download. I had this divine download that it was basically communicate with other women and share their success stories so they can be an inspiration to others who need to hear those stories so they can stay inspired themselves.
Yeah.
And it was clear as day. And like you, I didn't have that plan. That wasn't mine. I never even thought about this. And then all of a sudden I was
No.
on the mat and I knew this was a
Mm-hmm.
divine download. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't from me. It was
No.
just like, this is what you're supposed to do. And then all of a sudden I said, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yes. And then of
Yeah.
course I got busy with the, okay, how do I do it? What should I do? And this is part of it, me interviewing
Yeah.
you. This was told to me. I'm supposed to reach out to beautiful women like you
Mm-hmm.
to learn about your story,
Mm-hmm.
record it, interview you, and get it out to others so that you can
Mhm.
touch somebody else, or that our
Yeah.
conversation can inspire and help somebody else. And I'm just loving this. So I just, everything that you're saying is spot on with
Yeah.
how it actually comes to be when you quiet your mind and you
Yeah.
wait to receive. Sometimes we
Yes.
push and
Yeah.
go for all the answers, and we think we know it all and we're supposed to find it out. Sometimes you're just
Exactly.
supposed to be quiet
Mhm.
and receive, most of the time, I think, right?
Yes. And let go of the
Okay.
control.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The ego mind, right? We
Yeah.
have to get in touch with our spirit. Okay, so I didn't mean to interrupt you on your
Oh, no,
morning
it's okay.
routine. However, it just made me
Yeah,
remember
it's okay.
that's how this came to me. And
Yeah.
okay, so you do this every day now. Do you follow like are you quiet? Do you play music? Do you follow a meditation audio that's done
It
for you? How do you do it?
depends. It
It
depends what
varies.
I'm guided to do.
Mm,
I have like meditations ready. I have like energy frequencies. I just want to go briefly into what it is. It's like
yes,
music,
please.
but it's not just music. It's you listen to it, you focus, you get quiet, and then you get the whys, you get the info on why certain things are blocked. And then that energy, you have to face it, and then that energy just gets released. And then I also try to write down the insights that I get, because later on I may use it in some kind of form of writing.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Love. Do you follow any other morning or evening routines or daily practices that strengthen
Mm.
your spiritual or inner child type of thing?
Uh, no, not really. But when I get to the office, I try to go to the park, connect with nature.
Yes.
But people, I always advise that people should find what works for them. It doesn't have to necessarily be like meditation or anything else. Just try to find something that works for you, and you'll get there as well.
I agree with you. I think the idea is just to be in some sort of flow,
Mm.
more of like a creative flow.
Yeah,
Sometimes, like I have a background in culinary education. So sometimes I'll get in the kitchen and just cook and,
yeah,
just create something, and I'm lost in my mind. I also recommend sometimes, you know, sometimes we have to be quiet and rest, and
yes.
we can tend to feel guilty, like, "Oh, I'm lazy," or something like that, right? Some of the best moments of when your next inspiring activity or move
Yeah,
should be comes when you're resting, when your mind is
yeah,
quiet, even if it's a
correct.
20-minute nap or,
Yeah.
like a walk in nature, like you said. So
Mm-hmm,
yeah, it's so important to listen. So
mm-hmm,
I love that, and I absolutely agree with you. So okay, let's see. Um I just want to, because yours is a very deep
mm-hmm,
subject, so I want to get more
mm-hmm.
into some of the deeper questions. Um, okay, what was one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome as you were growing your business?
Ooh, I think patience,
With yourself or with others?
with the process,
The process.
with the
Okay.
process, because when you're channeling, it just comes to you. You don't have to go chasing or looking or thinking that blocks the process. And with my first book, you know, I was just wondering when I'm gonna publish it, when it's your first. But now with my second, I know all that divine timing. I know what works best,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also getting that visibility, because I hear other people like putting their book online before they get published. But now I understand that there must have been a reason why I had to publish first and work on the visibility later. So I say to myself, it doesn't matter anymore. I just follow the process and I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, I love that. And so your ability to trust
Mm-hmm.
allowed the process to happen and you didn't
Yeah.
force it. You just let
No.
it be. You just,
Mhm.
you trusted your desire and your mission, and then
Yeah.
you kind of let go of the control.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
found that you probably were able to produce more quickly than you thought by letting go of the control.
Yes. Correct.
So sometimes we slow down our own
Mhm.
process by controlling everything and being too involved, huh? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of truth to that. It's probably a lot simpler to follow our dreams and make them come true,
Correct.
but we think it's so complicated and we get in
Mhm.
our own ways. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I love it. And here's a really good one.
Mhm.
How do you deal with fear and doubt?
Ooh. Wow. That's a good one indeed. Like, yeah, like yesterday we were talking, and all of a sudden there was this overwhelm, and I felt like, oh yes, this is my old self. I know you. I accepted it. I know you're there, but I'm ready to let go of you now because I have this wonderful opportunity, and I don't want to self-sabotage myself.
I love that. I do this sometimes where I'll come outside of myself and talk to myself as
Yeah.
if, I'm
Mhm.
my own little helper or my own little
Yeah.
coach to myself. And I love what you just said, where you recognized it.
Yes.
Okay, like little girl, little
Yeah.
child of mine, I love you, I forgive you. But this is
Yes.
old and we're on a new path now, and I can handle
Yes.
this.
Right.
I appreciate your input,
Mhm.
but I'm going to do things my way now because it's a new
Yeah.
time, right? I love that where
Yeah.
you this is really great advice because it enables you to be
Mhm.
so kind to yourself
Yeah.
when we right when we sometimes we can be so
Yeah.
tough on ourselves when we
Correct.
don't succeed at something or we
Mhm.
didn't check everything off our to-do list for the day,
Yeah.
and instead of concentrating on the 8 things that we did do properly, we
Yes.
concentrate on the 2 things that we
Yeah.
miss, and we're hard on ourselves.
Correct.
And we
Yeah.
have to treat ourselves as if we were our own best friends,
Yeah.
or that we're
Yeah.
parenting ourselves, right, and taking
Yes.
good
That's
care of
that's
ourselves.
exactly it. Yeah.
I love that. So your way of dealing with fear and doubt is to recognize that this
Mhm.
is an old thing that came up, that
Yes.
it's your inner child from a past
Yes.
moment where you're in front of her
Yes.
saying, you don't have to be afraid anymore.
Right.
We got this.
And it's all illusion. It's just an energy that needs to be cleared. And once we know that, then we're all good.
Yes. Wow. I love everything that you're saying because it's so actionable.
Mhm.
When people are listening to this interview, they
Mhm.
will be able to, it's a very beautiful, deep interview we're
Yeah.
having on very huge things. However,
Yes.
the action plan that you are subscribing or prescribing
Yeah.
to people
Mhm.
is so manageable and
Yeah.
enjoyable too. It's an enjoyable
Yes.
way to do this. Very nice.
Yes.
I love it.
And
Okay.
actually, it's also what I also wanted to add is like, I have let go of what the ideal, what I was my image, what I had in front of me, because when I do that, then I get to enjoy. Then I get to be loose and enjoy the process, because it's not about the outcome. It's about the people we met along the journey. It's about everything that comes along, and that is for me like abundant.
I love this. So let me just get this straight. So what you're
Hmm.
basically saying is you basically have the vision of your
Yeah.
ideal in your mind. So you know what
Yeah.
it is. Once you
Yeah.
know what it is, you sort of put it out there and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I know it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yes.
And on the way, I'm going to enjoy every single moment
Yes.
because I can
Yes.
count on that vision coming true. When it
Right.
comes true, how it happens, that's not
Yes.
up to me, but
Right.
I'm going to enjoy
Yeah.
the journey. Oh,
Yeah.
I love this. I think everything that we just said so far in a very few
Hmm.
minutes is going to take so much stress and pressure off women that are
Hmm.
trying over trying to really,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
control it and push it and over manage
Yes.
it, micromanage it. And
Yeah.
your philosophy is just, I always say, let go and let God,
Yeah.
let go and let
Mhm.
God. So have your vision, whatever your spiritual feeling is, it's
Yeah.
regardless, feeling of something more, and your true
Yes.
belief that you're connected and that it will come to be, and you don't have to steer the ship the whole time.
Yes. Right. Right.
You have your roadmap, but you trust that the vehicle will get you there, the vehicle being
Yes.
your source energy.
Yes.
So okay, let's see, I love this. Okay. um okay, I definitely think that I know your answer on this. This tends to be similar with most of the women I'm interviewing. So
Hmm.
do you agree that your mindset is more important than systems and strategies, and why?
Yes. Yes, because like I mentioned before, it's all within us. It's the kind of energy that we're in that attracts everything. If we're not in the right energy, then the universe is like, I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna give you something else. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to keep removing those blocks until we get that end result.
You have like I absolutely agree and truly love everything you're saying. Do you have
Hmm.
every once in a while those days where you're just having a bad day or you're in a bad
Yeah.
mood and you know that you should probably straighten out your mindset, and you,
Yeah.
you know what to do, but you're just deciding that you're just going to be cranky that day and you're not going to deal with it?
Right.
Do you allow yourself to have those moments, or a day
Yes.
or an hour where you're just like, you know what, I know what I should do, I should reprocess
Yeah.
my energy, I should do meditation, I should get
Hmm.
myself in order, but I'm not in the mood and I'm just going to be in a bad mood and that's my choice? Do you have those moments where that shows up?
Yes, but I don't tend to stick long, because then we get stuck in that
Yeah,
energy,
yeah.
and then we don't know the way anymore. We tend to get lost.
Yeah, you can spin. You can
Yeah.
go into a spin cycle. What
Yeah.
I
Right.
remember one of the best pieces of advice I think that my mom has
Hmm.
ever given to me, and at a very young age she said it. She said,
Hmm.
let's say I was mad or sad, whatever it might be. She said, you know what? Give yourself 10 minutes to have your mood, your bad
Right.
mood, your sad mood. 10 minutes. Go for it. Enjoy it. Relish in all those
Right.
bad emotions. But then when your 10 minutes is up, you get back and you get back to your good,
Yes.
vibrant energy. And I think that's a kind of a good idea. So
Yes.
we allow our feelings because we're not robots. We're not always
Hmm.
on
No.
the right moment in ourselves. And
No.
we just need to allow a little bit of
Hmm.
room for that. But like you said, don't get lost in it
Yeah.
because that's a very vicious cycle. So
But with the emotions, then it's important to release. And
yes.
it's important to allow and to
Hmm.
release.
Yes.
Uh, or else we get like physical symptoms, because
Yeah.
I know that my headaches that I had, that they were suppressed emotions.
Yeah.
And with those frequencies that I'm doing, they tend to get released after half an hour, and then the pressure is gone.
Excellent.
But however, those things aren't a replacement. If you really feel bad, then you should go to the doctor, because
Yeah.
I learned that medication is a way to suppress things, same like alcohol, etc.,
Mhm.
etc. But it's your intuition that will guide you.
Absolutely. I do agree that the mind
Hmm.
creates the healthy body,
Yeah.
and really you can think yourself into bad situations. You can actually allow your brain to take over and
Yeah.
let it run havoc on your life
Hmm.
if you don't get in front of it. So yes, there is a moment where you're supposed to
Hmm.
feel your emotions, let it out, because it's not good to keep it all in, because
No.
then you're all tight and stuck.
Yeah. Correct.
But yeah, but then once it's out, then you say, okay, let's recenter and focus on gratitude is always a great thing. Let's do the
Yes.
gratitude journal. Let's focus on all the things that
Mhm.
are working. Let's talk about the plans. And then sometimes it's little
Mhm.
successes. It can be the simplest thing
Yes.
of cleaning out your desk drawer. That
Mhm.
takes you 10 minutes maybe. But because it's an act of positive
Mhm.
action to make
Yeah.
improvement, you feel better about yourself. So you get
Mhm.
that endorphin, and then,
It
then you
does.
start to get the feel good, and then
Yeah.
your serotonin levels and everything starts to go in the right direction, and then you're back, so
Yeah. You're back
very
in.
good,
Yeah.
very good. And then, of course, systems and strategies are very important. They play a role. But
Mhm.
I think later, once you have your
Yeah.
vision and your understanding,
Yes.
then when you can get those automations into place, it's great because it'll free up your
Mhm.
time and your mental energy.
Yeah. True.
Sometimes, yeah, it's
Mhm.
hard to get it going because
Yeah.
for us creative people, or many people, they don't like all the tech stuff because it's so black
Yeah.
and white, so to speak, and
Mhm.
there's not that open energy. However,
Yes.
when you get the systems and strategies in
Mhm.
place, it will allow so much more space for that
Yes.
creative energy. So
Yes.
there's a reason for it, and it
Yeah.
helps you, of course,
Mhm.
bring in revenue in a
Mhm.
better
Mhm.
way, or do your
Yeah.
actions better. So okay, let's see. La la la. I guess I would like your perspective on how you can apply your process to
Mhm.
women that maybe have a money block. They self-sabotage,
Mhm.
let's say.
Yeah.
How would you suggest using your tools for them to break clear of a money block where they keep just messing up, keep getting in their own ways?
Yes. Um. Give me just a second.
Okay, I know. Take your time. Take your time.
Just because I was just yeah, let's just bring up Christy Marie Sheldon because I was asking to the universe, what does it take for me to attract the right people, the readers for my book? And then instantly I was like, I found Marie Christy Sheldon online. But prior to that, I already seen her, but I wasn't ready or that receptive to her methods. And then you may say like, oh, it isn't working, but it's the receptiveness. And some a few years later, I was open. Now I'm open to it because it resonates on my journey. And I was listening to her abundance program, and I was shocked because I discovered I had this unworthiness. I didn't feel worthy to receive or deserve anything, but that comes back to my childhood.
Mhm.
Um, I was like also a little bit self-sabotaging. I had the fear of rejection. So that kind of comes back to the topic, wealthy woman, because abundance is not only money. It's like we tapped on earlier. It's like who we are, the values, everything. It's the total package. And I was pretty amazed, like the clearing. I felt it like in my stomach. It's like the solar plexus chakra there, the confidence chakra, that
Mhm.
what needed the most clearing, and then it all makes sense.
Yes, yes. I love this. I love what you just said, and thank you for referring it back to
Mm-hmm.
my work because as a money mindset coach,
Yeah.
my whole vision about what
Mm-hmm.
true abundance is, money's only one part of it. And
Yes.
I will eventually reopen my club, which is all about daily activities. It's called the Wealthy. That's why the name of my company is
Yeah.
Wealthy Woman Every Day, because every
Mm-hmm.
single day, for example, little things. I was making my French press coffee, and it's
Mm-hmm.
lovely. And then I decided, let me get a little silver platter out with a doily and a beautiful glass spoon, and the
Yes.
presentation was just beautiful, and it was an
Yeah.
elevation. I felt so abundant. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't spend any money. I
Mm-hmm.
already had these
Yeah.
things in my house. So it's this concept of
Yes.
light a candle, buy yourself some flowers, or pick a
Mm-hmm.
flower, put it on your desk. Do these things that wealthy women would do for themselves,
Yes.
but do it for yourself now, because you're training yourself.
Yeah.
This is how
Yeah.
you train yourself to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can treat yourself well with a
Yeah.
simple like cup of coffee and
Mm-hmm.
elevate that, you are allowing,
Yes.
you're saying to the universe, I am
Mm-hmm.
worthy, I am valuable, I deserve a beautiful setting for my coffee, or a
Or
beautiful environment,
yes.
or gratitude, you
Mm-hmm.
know, noticing the birds and the trees and your values and all of the things. And it really will, these are the steps that will bring
Yeah.
you to the wealth. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
also like give something to your like give something to yourself what you always wanted as a child that you never gotten. And I realized that the money is related to the love, the health. It's all connected. And
Mhm.
that's the biggest insight that I have gotten so far.
Money is energy. It's
Yeah.
just another form of energy.
I,
And when you earn, allow yourself to earn more, it is
yes.
directly related to the fact that you're saying, I am worthy, I am valuable, and I deserve this energy, so that I can
Yes.
receive the energy, enjoy the energy,
Mhm.
give the energy back, and it's this flow,
Yeah.
and there's no stagnation. So, because how, in a way, it goes back to,
Mhm.
if you can't love yourself, how can you love other people?
Yes.
If you
Right.
can't give to yourself, how, you know,
Yes.
how can you expect to be given to? So, I mean,
Right.
you know how, what I'm trying to say. So
Correct. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's see. Um, if you, if you were going to give one tip to women that are just starting their
Mhm.
business, more than any, like one success tip that you would
Mhm.
say, this is what you need to start with, no matter what your business is, no matter what your dreams or visions are, what would that be?
Guess what? Be in the right energy.
And how would you suggest they get to the right energy, and how will you let them know that they'll know it's the right energy?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Well,
That's a tricky one. Oh,
it might
that's
be like you said, meditation, quiet moments, right? Yeah,
yeah.
listening,
Quiet
being quiet.
moments. Try to reconnect with yourself and try to listen to your intuition, and yeah, also train your intuition, because you want to know the difference between your yeses and your nos, because oftentimes, how often do we react from a pattern from the past and we don't even realize it?
Too often we do this,
Mhm.
very often.
Yeah.
And it's hard to recognize it when you're just, you know, doing what
Yeah.
you've always done, right? And so
Yes.
by being quiet and listening to yourself, you'll get more into tune with how
Yes.
to recognize it when something shows up,
Yes.
and you look at it differently and you realize,
Yes.
okay, that's just an old pattern.
Yeah.
I can either keep this pattern if it's serving me, but if it isn't serving me, then maybe I should consider altering it a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a
Yeah, and
really,
it's like going, yeah, it's like uh moving along the way. And it's like also taking that first step, and you don't have to, like the code goes, like you don't have to see the whole staircase. It's like you have to just take that first step and just trust that the universe will provide with you at the time when it's meant to come.
yes, exactly. And also, I think it's important, like you said, just see the
Yeah.
first step instead of the whole thing, because you will change every
Yeah.
moment, every step you take, you will change a little bit.
Right.
So if you're starting from here
Yeah.
and you have all of these thoughts and you
Yes.
assume they're going to stay that way till the very end,
Yeah.
no, you're mistaken. One step, you'll
Yes.
change a little. Second step, you'll change a little, and
Yes.
you'll go and you'll flow with it. And so this is
Feel like
also very,
flexible. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
also it makes it more manageable because, and
Yes.
I find one of the things that I had
Mhm.
to struggle with, and I still have to make sure that I catch
Mhm.
myself. I am prone to overwhelm because basically overwhelm shows up for me because I have so much excitement and
Yes.
enthusiasm, and I know that I can do many things, and help many
Mhm.
people in many different ways. And then
Yeah.
and it could show up also in let's say study courses to
Yes.
improve my practice. And then I realized it was just,
Mhm.
I was driving myself nuts, and
Yes.
I was really it wasn't making the process
Yes.
very fun. And
Yeah.
even though I could do this, I was exhausted from it, and I just really had to get in front
Mhm.
of it. And I said, you know, you have to just like clear the deck and
Yeah.
focus and to put everything you have into one thing. And it's made it so much better. And it's
Mhm.
like now I know my trigger. That's for me is
Yes.
one of my, like, I'm looking
Yeah.
for it when it and it
Yeah.
shows up. I have not mastered it. I'm better at it. I can recognize it. But
Okay.
we have these
Yeah.
things that I think in our lives we all have to pay attention to a little bit. What
Yes.
are our Achilles heels? Like, where's
Yeah.
our under spot where we need to pay attention to it? So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Correct.
so true. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. How would you define success? Like, what does a day of success look like for you? If you had your most perfect day, what is that day?
Ooh. Um. Actually, I'm not easy to. I'm easy to be grateful.
Mm,
I don't have to have this and that, because if you have that mindset, then you're not open to allow.
ah, love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. That's a really great
I
answer.
just like to be surprised. And
Yes.
when you're open, then you get surprised easily, letting go of those expectations
Mm, mm.
we have.
And this is really how you can live in the moment. This actually reminds
Yes.
me
Be in the
a lot
now.
of
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle's teaching,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's hard to do because then our egos come in and our controlling natures come in and we're trying to manage everything. But
Yes.
really, we have to, I mean, I guess the theme of this conversation is
Mhm.
trust the process, be
Yes.
in the moment,
Mhm.
enjoy the moment, be grateful for the moment, know that
Be
the next step
you.
will be revealed, be yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And yeah, I love this. And be in the
Because
flow.
I often get I am like a high sensitive, and I sense when people get triggered, and they often get triggered by my authenticity. And I used to take that personally, but now I'm saying, you know what? I hate to be controlled by other people. I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna be a do me and not allow anybody to interfere.
I love this because everything that we spoke about was so like, spiritual, full of universal
Yes.
energy, all of that goodness. And it's showing up as
Yes.
unbreakable confidence in you.
Mhm.
It's like
Wow.
you are so secure and confident
Yeah.
because you just know that
Mhm.
you can let go and trust that it's
Yeah.
all happening for you. And this
Yes.
is really amazing because it's as if everything that you're saying right now is there's so many things we sometimes think we have to work on. Oh, I have to be confident.
Yes.
I have to get over imposter syndrome. I have to
Yeah.
fix my money blocks. I have to do this. And there's like all these different things. And your message is if you just get quiet and get
Yeah.
into your true authentic self,
Mhm.
allow,
Mhm.
allow for it to just show up for you, as long as you have your passionate vision and you know that that is
Yeah.
a beneficial vision, then all those other things sort of take care of themselves.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
don't be mistaken. And make it sound easier than it is, but it
no,
isn't.
it's not.
Don't be
It's that,
mistaken, but
well, that's the thing. That's the tricky part, because it seems easy on the surface, right? But it's
yeah.
one of the hardest things to quiet your mind
Yes.
and listen and
Yeah.
allow.
And I still have to get used to the fact that we don't have to chase anything. It just comes to us at the right timing. And that's the mindset that I'm working on, to have that,
Yes.
button turned off.
Yes. I think you're so right, because it's our training. We are trained to
do so.
produce. Yes, we're trained to produce, to get results.
Mhm.
And we're also trained that, someone else is telling us what to do, and we grow
Yeah.
up with all of this. And of course, this is such a hard conditioning to rethink and get
Yeah.
into this whole trust, especially when it is basically an invisible type of nature and field. We can't see it, we can't touch it, we sense it, we know it, but allowing ourselves to really let go of and allow that, it's absolutely beautifully hard, I should say, because it's like one of those things that it's worth the effort, it's worth the work to get to that point.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It
And then
is.
once you finally get used to it, like you're saying, when you get used to it and you're training yourself, it gets easier. Like what I was just saying about like my, I don't know, my trigger overwhelm. Like there was a time when I didn't even know that was what was going on, and why I was feeling all stressed and feeling like I could never arrive and be, accomplished, because I had so much going on. I couldn't recognize it. And then I finally did. And now it's easier, but it was hard then. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let's see what else. Let's see. I love this interview. This is really great. It's going to be so helpful to so many people.
I know.
I'm just looking. Okay, what would you say? You might have an interesting answer for this. What would you say is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, working for yourself?
Wow. Uncertainty, perhaps. Uncertainty. You're never gonna know where you're gonna land.
That's the good and there's two sides of that, right? It's fun to allow and be in the flow and be excited about the surprise, like you were saying. But then it's also it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, because also that your business is happening, of course, to serve others, but also you're wanting to have it be able to fulfill your financial needs as well. And so there comes
especially in the beginning. Because you have this, like me, I have this book, but then I went like, the universe wouldn't have me written that if it won't serve a purpose.
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. It's so meant, whatever shows up is meant for you to pursue, if it's in your heart and you just know it. Let's see. And then our very last question is, what is something that your audience or your friends related, what don't they know about you? Like, what is like a fun hobby that you do, or something, that they might not know about you?
Interesting.
It's like one of those questions to end on a sort of fun note, like, what is something that somebody doesn't know about you? I mean, like it's joyful, like a favorite activity or a favorite food or something.
Let me think. Yeah, now I'm starting to scream it out of the top of my lungs. But I discovered that even though I am a Belgian, I am half Filipina. because my mother is from the Philippines, my father is a Belgian. But I didn't know back then that I felt more connected to the Philippines. And it's kind of strange for me because it's like the opposite, because I'm raised in Belgium. I'm the culture, the standards, the there's also a difference in openness, because sometimes I feel like I'm too bright, too enthusiastic, and they just tend to stay in their shell, but that's okay because that's who they are.
Yeah, that's their culture.
But when I was a kid, it was hard for me to understand why that was. And I had this trip back then, the first trip in my adolescent life. It took me 1 month to get used to Belgium again. And then it was like, it started to ping, 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 like, yes, that's why. And now I'm like working to get my identity back to where it was, because it's less draining.
Yeah. Yes. Like you feel divided somehow, right? And
Yeah.
I understand that. I split my time between America and California, and then I split my time in Europe
Yeah.
because my husband's European. And there's so
Yes.
much to love, but there also
Yeah.
is such a difference in the cultures and the way of life, and some
Yeah.
similarities, of course, but a lot of differences. And sometimes it is interesting to, get that sense of
Yeah.
yourself when you're in a foreign place, but that can be really interesting because it brings things out of you that you didn't
Yeah.
realize, and you might not have figured out had you stayed on your home base so much. So yeah, I absolutely can relate with that. It's both a good thing, and like you said, sometimes you feel divided and you just have to kind of bring it back into
And
your
and what I also noticed is like, now when I return to my self-acceptance, that I cleared all the negative energy about it, I tend to miss the Philippines less, because everything is inside of us and we just need to accept it. It doesn't mean that I don't miss it anymore, but it gets less because of that self-acceptance.
I love that. It's almost like you're saying you already belong, even if you're not physically there. No matter where you are, your self identity can just be at home anywhere when it's internal, and you're just yourself and not comparing maybe to the differences. Yeah, comparisonitis, that is not just like looking at other people's fabulous Instagram accounts and being hard on yourself. Why isn't mine growing? It's also about these other type of things that show up in our situations that have to be
you're right
with, right? And again, and that is really it's interesting. This is actually a very important thing that you just said, because there will be times that in all life processes, right? Whether it is getting older, whether it is different seasons of your life. Let's say, you might be single, then you might be married, then you might be a parent, then you might be getting older. You might live in this place and that place. You may have had an employer, now you work for yourself. All these things are all different. There's no one centered thing that will stick for the rest of your life. So when you're talking about being centered in yourself so that you can feel at home, it's not just about location. It's about any phase in your life. That change is inevitable, but change doesn't have to throw you off course when you stay centered in yourself, because that is something you can count on for the rest of your life. Who you are is who you are. It's who you were when you were born, as a toddler, as we grow, we expand, we educate ourselves, we get better, we do more. However, our essence is the same as it always was, and it will always be. And so we can always count on that to be our home, right? Our compass. Well, I think that's a fabulous way to end this fantastic interview. Oh my goodness. Okay, before we wrap up, please tell everybody again where they can find you and let them see your book again so that they can go ahead and order that because it's fantastic. So go ahead and
Yeah, it's disappearing.
sharing, let's see, it's
Wait,
sharing
yeah,
my
there,
light
there.
and healing energy, a journey to true self. And then you can go ahead and reach, there it is, Gresson Pfieffer. So there you have it. I encourage all of you beautiful women out there to go get this book. I mean, if you were inspired by this interview, I can imagine how beautifully moved you will be after reading, you know, your words of wisdom, basically. So I
Yeah.
just want to thank you so much for
You're
taking the
welcome.
time and having such a beautiful share with me. It's definitely going to be, it's beneficial to me. I already feel like elevated, up leveled, inspired, wealthier for having had this time with you, and abundant, of course. And I just know that this will be the same inspiration that others have. So thank you so very much for taking the time. And
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, all right. Well, ladies, I will see you soon. And don't forget, Wealthy Women Wednesdays, I will be sharing success stories, and you will have all the information to see all the beautiful success stories, including beautiful breath, you know, this beautiful interview that we just had. I can't say enough. So I'm very excited to get your interview out there. And thank you again. And I will see you soon. Bye
All
for now.
right. Bye-bye.